This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and we're on the second day of Jank Week. And the thing I really want to do for Jank Week quite a bit is I want to animate the Ozolith. So the Ozolith says when a creature you control leaves the battlefield, you put a counter on the Ozolith if it had any counters on it. And at the beginning of combat, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move them onto a creature. Now, moving them onto a creature is all well and good, but what I want to do is turn the Ozolith into a creature itself, because the counters will pump the Ozolith. So I have Animating Fairy, which, using Bring to Life for 2 and a blue, target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact creature, put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. So I want to make a Mega Ozolith with Animating Fairy. That's my main objective today. And to get counters onto the Ozolith, I have a whole bunch of creatures that spawn counters, add counters, and then make use of that. So it's kind of this Azorius tempo deck, aggro deck, I don't know. But we have all these zeros, as they're called. They're X creatures, and you just play like a 1X creature, then a 2X creature, or a Steel Overseer, then you play the weapon, and you pump them all with the Loxodon. The opponent blows them all up because nobody likes to have fun, and it puts a whole bunch of counters on the Ozolith. Then we play Animating Fairy, we animate the Ozolith, and we smash. So at least that's the idea. To interact with our opponent just a little bit, we have our Defender of Jank, the Teferi Time Raveler, to keep the opponent from killing the Ozolith when we animate it. And we have Brazen Borrower and Conclave Tribunal to try to keep the opponent from completely destroying us before we get to do our cool things with counters. So it's an interesting deck that's a little bit aggressive and then has a fun flurry combo type finish with the Ozolith. So yay. You're going to ask me, everybody's going to ask me, they're going to put this in comments over and over. They're not going to watch my whole intro. They probably already turned it off. Only the cool kids are still here. But then what they're going to do is they're going to leave a comment in chat saying, why do you have these off-color lands? I have off-color lands that produce either white or blue mana, which we need anyway to play Teferi, Brazen Borrower, Venerated Loxodon, Conclave Tribunal, and then they produce the other colors, and that's for Chamber Sentry. Chamber Sentry has the rainbow ability to return it from the graveyard to the hand, but it can also enter the battlefield with counters on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. So even though it won't come up often, if we have a third color because we drew a Godless Shrine and possibly a fourth color because we also drew a Sacred Foundry, we can play a 4/4 Chamber Sentry instead of a 2/2 Chamber Sentry. And the scale on the Sentry is important. It's pretty good. So when people ask why the shock lands, that is why. Will probably punish us hard when we play against mono red, but against everything else, I think that the life loss is okay as long as we stay aggressive and keep the opponent on the back foot. So we will judge success today by whether or not we actually manage to animate the Ozolith with Animating Fairy and crush an opponent. So let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Almost forgot to hit the record button. So we mulled to 6 and we got this beauty of a hand. What goes back? I think on the play we keep this aggressive lineup and put back the Borrower. But we're on the draw. Maybe I should have put a land back, considering the way we flooded so far. And our opponent opens with Temple and they have Lurish showing. Kind of weird. Terramander. Okay. Some kind of, I don't know. Boggles? Jeskai Boggles? They're gonna put Staggering Insight on this thing? Well, regardless, I'd gladly trade a Conjurant on their 1-drop. And if they play a Staggering Insight here, Teferi is going to mess them up. That's right, Dragon. That's scary. The Stonecoil Serpent should be good against it. Alright, they're holding up some kind of protection card. A steadily growing Stonecoil Serpent might be a lot for them to figure out how to navigate. There's the insight. Who called that? Me. But what are they going to do? Okay. I block you with reach. The opponent can play Karametra's Blessing. That would kill this. And they would get to keep theirs because of Indestructible. So let's just not, because starting next turn we can go over the top. And Teferi makes Karametra's Blessing bad. So letting them draw a card here sucks, but I think it's the right play. A little patience here might go a long way. More Terramander. Okay. What you got? So they fire off the Blessing to protect the Terramander here. Hexproof.
Right on schedule.
They still have to get around the Stonecoil Serpent. We could plus the Teferi to keep their life difficult. This is going to go back to being a 2-2. If they trade it away, they only need one spell to kill the Teferi, and I get to eat one of their creatures. I don't think that's worth it. I think we bounce the dragon.
I've got it.
I know they can play it again with haste, but it will be significantly smaller. Not only that, we get to attack. We hold this back to pump the Stonecoil to block through another Karametra's Blessing effect. Even though there's a Teferi, they could use it pre-combat if they really wanted to attack. Our life total is in a bit of danger. Sprite Dragon returns. Another staggering insight. Wow, good draw. Their hand is very good. Are they willing to throw some of this away to hit Teferi? Or are they going to go for our life total? They're not going after us at all. Good draw.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before. I am not going to sit this one.
Only a Karametra's Blessing in the graveyard. That was tilt enough. That's why we include Teferi in the deck, everybody. Because the opponent just can't handle it. Ozolith. Let's do this. Let's frickin' do it. We'll need a land off the top so we can go Chamber Sentry into Crystalline Giant. And then Venerated Loxodon, but we are on the move. This is exactly what I was looking for in this game. Sentry. What you got? Footlight Fiend. Okay. Cauldron Familiar. Where have I seen these cards before? Anybody? Anybody seen these cards before? Let's get the giant going. Flying. Haha. I guess we sort of want this to die, but it's also insurance against a priest. So we don't want it to die because we have a Loxodon. Silly me. Man. Does this mean I have to go back and change the title of the video as the best bet, like the best deck is Rakdos? Because it just scooped on turn 3 to my Jank deck. All right, let's make some big critters. Let's do this. I guess we save the Chamber Sentry till a little bit later, probably against Yorion. We don't need to be killing something early, so I think we lead on Conjurant, then Overseer, then Sentry. Unfortunately, Conjurant doesn't get pumped by the Overseer, so we're just playing a 1-mana 1/1 here. Maybe that was reason enough to play a turn 1 Sentry. I don't know. I always want the bigger Sentry. I'm greedy like that. Thank you. Just play your Growth Spiral. I'm not doing nothing here. Just do it. Like, come on now. There you go. Oh goody. Oh goody. Ramp and Scry. What a wonderful world. I really need an Ozolith. Oh, are we missing a land, or are we just... I don't know. Just dorking around. No Teferi? Yet. That's a good choice. That's a good choice for the opponent. Alright. Oh, now you're friendly. And I could have a 3/3 chamber sentry. But I think I'm supposed to just get it onto the board. Always hit them, then say hello. That's how we say hi in Magic. A good friendly face smacking. Animating Fairy really needs an Ozolith to play with. Alright, we found a white source. We need double white source for Shatter, so I'm hoping to get an Ozolith before then, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Alright, to battle. I think I hold back the Stonecoil Serpent since it has protection from Teferi, as much as I want to put counters on it. The opponent has to sweep this board or do something about this board. So let's go like this, and then I'm going to play a 4/4 Conjurant. If the opponent removes it, at least I get to draw a card if they shatter the board. Nothing here is vulnerable to an Elspeth Conqueror's Death, so that's good. Against a Nissa, this can block a land, so that's good. Oh, we're gross spiraling again. Still no second white. Man, if there was an Ozolith on this board, I would so welcome a Shatter the Sky. I would be so happy having the Animating Fairy up my sleeve. Well, there's the second white, but there's no Shatter, and we've got Nissa make a land. So, I'm feeling good about the Conjurant now. Maybe I'm supposed to play the Serpent. Oh, hello. So what do we do? This is a complicated turn. If the opponent blocks this, it goes to 1. I guess that's fine. If it hits this, we can Chamber Sentry to remove it. The opponent might have a Brazen Borrower. But I think what we really want to do is play the Loxodon. Do I offer this to the Wolves? No, we still want to play the Loxodon. If the opponent blocks the Conjurant, I think I'm going to Brazen Borrow the Nissa and make them play it again. Okay, there we go. Kill the Breeding Pool, drop him to 1. Go away. I could play this for 1, but then I don't get to use the Overseer. It also seems really bad if they have the Shatter the Sky now. Good game. That's either a thing you say before you shatter the sky, or a thing you say before it all goes to hell. Okay. Animates a temple. No land in hand. What's your hand? Hydroid Crisis? Probably plenty of Hydroid Crisis. So we can buff these. Use this, attack that. Okay. I think I know what I want to do. I still want to hold back the Stonecoil a little bit. That might be too conservative, but it's my freaking game. I get to do what I want. So shoot it down. All right, the opponent makes 1 blue mana. Let's clear the mana from the mana pool. Thank you. Kill the Nissa, hit the face. They probably have another Nissa. It's probably like Nissa, Hydroid Crisis, and Elspeth Conqueror's Death, maybe. Although they could have played that on the Loxodon. What are we doing here? Are we actually having a game against Vant Ramp? with this deck? What is going on? There's Teferi. I still haven't drawn mine.
Stand by and watch.
The opponent's at 10. They are on the brink of death. So, what do they bounce? Overseer it is. Scry to the top. That's a Shatter the Sky. So we want to have Brazen Borrower open. What else can we do? We can deal 7 to the face. I can't deal any extra this turn. And then they Shatter the Sky. Then we play Brazen, attack, and win.
That didn't go according to plan.
So let's continue to tax them and put the Overseer back out here and just make them actually have the Shatter. Because if they don't, if they have like some combination of other cards, then the Overseer might help us get around it. So there it is. Here's the Borrower. They have 2 mana. Maybe it's a Shark Typhoon? Oh, they have Mystical Dispute. No! Not like this. All right. Protection from Yorion, by the way. What you got? The big snake is here. Spiral. Can they draw another Shatter out of their 80 card deck? Narset.
There are so many mysteries to uncover with thoughtfulness before action.
That ain't it. Yeah. Take that, Bant. This hand has Teferis. We'll draw land. I believe in us. There's only like 20 in the deck, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. We'll see Teferi protect the Jank, as Teferi was always meant to do. No 1-drop with the 12 X cards in the deck. That's kind of a tilt. Temple. Who still plays this card? I'll shock just in case there's something worth borrowing, but the 3rd Teferi before the 3rd land is a bit of a tilt. Oh, we got there. Let's get Teferi. Let's start cutting off the opponent from playing their flash cards and their instants.
Let's try this.
Oh boy. It's the Ozolith. Pyro. It's annoying. Again.
Sorry I'm late.
Just make them do it again.
I'll protect you.
Nice. Ozolith on board. Ozolith acquired, everybody. It's gonna be okay. Royal Scions. So now they're setting it up so they can use the Pyromancer next turn. So we need to make sure we have mana up for a Brazen Borrower, which is fine, because we can play Crystalline Giant. There's a counter for Menace. Let's start acquiring counters for the Ozolith. Here's the Pyro. The opponent will put the ability of the Scions on the stack and will bounce the Pyro. We could have also just bounced the Scions. Improbable Alliance. I guess now's the time to bounce the Scions. What do we do this turn? I feel like Teferi bouncing the Pyromancer is necessary, or they just replay the Scions. So we may as well do that before committing another card. We don't want to tap all our blue, though.
I know my responsibility. There goes nothing.
It's a lot of land. Our chamber sentries are going to be pretty lit, though. So, we got first strike. Get him. We'll play you. We'll crank out a 3/3. The opponent does something about it. The Ozolith starts charging. Scions to the field. And they have the untapped land for the Pyromancer. The real question is what they'll use the bolt for now. They get a free bolt. If they don't remove our creatures, like Teferi's annoying, right? They might go after Teferi, but if they don't start removing the creatures, really bad stuff's gonna happen.
My answers lie in the cold truth.
Trigger. Target the giant. Okay. Those counters get to go on the stone coil now. But we also have these Loxodons.
Don't worry, I got
This is a menace counter and a first strike counter. I think we wait until we could wait until next turn and see what's still alive. Or maybe I can't. It's not a May. You may. It is a May. So we pick, but we decline. Our opponent's got their engine online, and we're down to one card. They could overpower us here. Trying to pick what to kill. Interesting. Charges up the Ozolith. I'm really looking for an animating fairy here. I want to turn the Ozolith into a creature very badly. That was the whole point of the deck. We haven't actually done it. Not Teferi. He had a family.
no more games.
No more games. Oh my goodness, the flood. I guess I have to go down to 20 land. Remember how we kept a 2-land hand? Just think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. I'm going bigger. We need more counters for our Ozolith. More, I say. So again, I think I saved the counters. The menace in the first strike counter, we really want to put it on a creature that gets to attack. The 5/5-ness I don't think matters. So here comes Chemist's Insight probably. Let's hold the land. Maybe make them play around something. Oh. Godzilla. Doom inevitable. There goes Tokyo. Alright, our opponent had 2. Look at them go. Living the dream over here. Oh, we're picking on the Loxodon. And then damage expired and it's fine. So, bit of a waste of a bolt there. If they had something else to do, maybe they were supposed to turn on full control mode or something. It's kind of an oops.
To know is to triumph.
Royal Scion's about to go off here. It feels like I do need to come up with something. Another land off the top is not it, boys and girls. Ah, you had a Scorching Dragonfire. Okay. Put a counter on the Ozolith. I'm surprised they're not trying to get rid of the trample creature. Looks like Teferi's going down.
I suppose that's how it was meant to happen.
Kept a 2-lander. We drew 6 lands in 1 spell, I believe. That's big. Alright. We have to make sure this Royal Scions does not ultimate. And we're looking at a +1/+1 counter, menace, and first strike. Let's do it. The fairy can so easily block this, plus the opponent can bolt it, trade. It's kind of meh. Uh-oh, third Godzilla. Third Godzilla cycle. Do they have another way to draw a card here? Not yet.
Cover my back, Rowan!
Cover my back, Rowan. Whatever. Alright. This is ready to go toe-to-toe with Godzilla. Oh my gosh! It's Jet Jaguar! Godzilla fans know what I mean. It's Jet Jaguar! Although Jet Jaguar was Godzilla's friend, but here they are ready to face off. This is flavor. This is every kind of flavor.
A quest of mystery.
So what are you going to bolt? If you bolt the Conjurant, it takes off the counters, and the Ozolith doesn't get charged. So this is perfectly good play to really nerf the Conjurant. And those fairies have decided to be aggressive. I'm guessing there's another Royal Scions in hand, just based on the fact that they have all these cards. And my I'm drawing way too much land. All right. I hate trading the Loxodon here, but they didn't have the draw 2 effect last turn, so they may not have it here. And this gets blocked by one of these, so it's not even good. I guess if I attack it here, they have to do something, but all they do is block it with a Pyro, so it's pointless. All right, how do we get one more damage out of this? Animating Fairy. Animate Ozolith attack. Oh my gosh.
I enjoy the proper application of knowledge.
They discard Blitz of the Thunder Raptor? That's a proper removal. Oh, they're going for lethal. That makes sense. So attack. Oh, well, we want to see Godzilla. No animation though, because, you know, reasons. Just attack with all, dude. Godzilla roar. You're lucky I flooded. You're so lucky. I had you. 5 games in, and I have animated 0 Ozoliths. This hand has an Ozolith, so we'll keep it. Goose. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go. We got Stone Coil into the weapon. Start piling up the counters. Our opponent's on double Goose. It's not good for us. I don't know what they have, but it's probably going to tilt me. Here's a Serpent. Just gotta get some aggression. How are we going to navigate this game? How on earth do we beat 2 geese? Gemry. I quit. I quit. What a load of garbage. What a complete load of crap. You know how many ways I have to kill this? 0. But the opponent does have to mutate onto it. What if they don't have more mutate cards? I guess that's our hope. Oh, bouncing this is basically useless. Like, bouncing this won't solve my problems, because then they can mutate it back down. But they are stuck. They are stuck on a food and 2 land. How do we exploit that? We could bounce the Goose, but then they can play it again, have a food, and then they have future. stuff. We can bounce the food, then they have to spend their next turn making a food token to use the goose the following turn. I think that's it.
Let's slow this down. This might
That
be
cuts
a
them
bad
off of a land. It cuts them off of a mana for a turn unless they top deck it. I guess it's going to be one of those games, guys. And it is a mutate deck. It turned out to be a full-blown mutate deck instead of just a Gem Razor in my green-black deck. So, we lose. We can't beat Gem Razor. It's just no chance.
Now what?
There's just no chance in hell. Alright. Yeah. You got it. We have the Ozolith. Will it get destroyed? Our opponent's playing Zerda. I think that means they're playing Cycling, but I could be wrong. I don't know how we beat Cycling, to be honest, but let's get the Ozolith. Let's go. How do we beat Cycling? I guess we have to get lifelink onto the weapon. It has to get big. We have to keep from getting flared. Valiant Rescuer. Yep. So this is the new version of Cycling that Ken Yukihiro played yesterday in the Pro Tour. He's known as a brewer. He brewed up this version with Fiend Artisan and a bunch of creatures. So, as much as you might have been excited to see something fresh in the Cycling world, it's still a net deck for those of you who find that to be evil. Our opponent copied it, went a deck from the Pro Tour, and they went straight to the unranked play queue. Just smash my face. All part of the Magic experience in Arena, guys. If you play Magic on Arena, this is what you can expect every day. A new deck must be there to smash you. But we've got we've got some stuff going. We'll see how this turns out. So the cool innovation in this deck is Fiend Artisan. Like I said, there's a lot of creatures with Cycling, and specifically running the Vantrasaur is why you see Zerda instead of Lurrus. And Fiend Artisan gets huge with a graveyard full of critters. Let's start moving some counters. So bouncing this, I don't think matters. This deck still wins with Zenith Flare, as you would expect. Don't really want to tap this or this. They're kind of saving me right now. But I do want to cast this Conclave Tribunal, so I might go Conjurant, play it. Flying. It doesn't feel like we can attack. I really need to get lifelink on this. It's too bad that Seal Overseer doesn't grow the Conjurants, but, you know, can't have it all sometimes. Could tap 4 and hold up Borrower, but I don't think that's good. Borrower's not good in this matchup. Give me that thing. Yep, make a 4th token. Unlike most Cycling decks, this deck can cast the Memory Leak, which is pretty sweet. And it also has Footfall Crater to go with the Fiend Artisan, which is nice. Alright. Opponent's committed to being as obnoxious as possible. And now they're throwing stuff at me to get a lethal Zenith Flare. So we need to hit lifelink off this Mecha Godzilla badly. There it is. There's the critter. So we draw Teferi. Teferi can set this back. But is it better to Brazen Borrow? I guess Teferi might draw into something useful here. Blue, white, blue.
You show remorse. Trust me, I have a plan.
You actually got a good play out of Teferi. What are you? Reach? And we have 1, 2, 3 blockers. They're at 16. I guess I need to push it. We're so close to getting Zenith flared. Okay. Oh yeah, it does run Splendor Mirror. The lifelink. The lifelink counter can be important. Now, if the opponent attacks here for some life gain, though, that's not going to pay off for them because of the Conjurant. It prevents damage. If the opponent's going to throw a big attack at Teferi, I'll let it die. But I will make this trade. That is fine. Might as well kill one of these. But you'll see they won't gain life because the Conjurant prevents the damage dealt to it. I don't think they noticed. Maybe they don't care. Alright, and Steel Overseer. We really need to hit lifelink on this card. I think we need the Brazen Borrower for the Artisan. We have a blocker, but one of the problems is Footfall Crater. The opponent can give it trample. So let's move to combat. Oh, we may as well play this. Although I'm probably saving these to block the 1/1s. How many Cyclers in the grave? 8, 9, 10, possibly 11. That's a perfectly lethal Zenith Flare, but they need an untapped land and all 1-mana Cyclers to do it. And we hit first strike. See, this is 6. If we bounce this and attack with all, they have to chump block the 4/4 to stay alive. Then they can attack, get me down to 10. Yeah, we still lose to the flare that way. So we'll drop them to 5 and hold on to our butts. You also may have noticed the +1/+1 counter not going on the Ozolith. That's because when damage is dealt to these, it removes the counters. No attacks. Go away. So they have Flare, they're going to use it on the weapon. Up to 7. We have the Ozolith, so they have to do it before the Ozolith trigger hits the stack. Might as well play another. Get those extra counters. Death Touch. Trample. Seems good. Alright. The opponent has to chump block this. But then we're not growing our other threats. Plus they could just take the damage and then they have counterattacks. We have 3. They can't really get it to 4, but saving this means Footfall Crater and Fiend Artisan, we can actually stop it. Yep. Oh, go to my face. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. So 7, 8, 9. It's too much. I was hoping they'd kill this, but they don't. You know, they're just gonna flare me again, I guess. Yeah. Good gameplay. Good gameplay. So annoying. Like that's just stupid. Absolutely no fun. Screw you, cycling. It's a keep. We'll draw a land, we'll have a nice curve, we'll Teferi them, we'll Loxodon. Lots of good things will happen. Leyline of the Void. Okay. That's fine. Our opponent starts by hating our graveyard and playing Temple. Enjoy that. My deck doesn't use the graveyard, so I think that's fine. Bouncing this with Teferi is kind of funny, especially if they decide to replay it. And they're opening with Scrylands. When deciding which one to get down, I'm never really sure. This one's ability to do damage, but it might be worth more if I wait. This definitely is worth more if I wait, though. So I think we'll put the Might on the battlefield. And it's a little more versatile. Just can shoot laser beams around. Brilliant.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Going first is so good.
The hero thing before.
Now that was a reason to play the Serpent, so that is on me, to be clear. Let's start charging you up, Menace. I should have seen the Teferi coming. That is definitely on me.
I've got it.
Some kind of instant speed interaction. Let's see if we can get in there. Take you down. Okay, no instant speed interaction. There might be a counter spell. There might be another Teferi. Like, there's reasons to play all these different cards. I'm going to go for this. Shut down future counter spells. And I am going to bounce the ley line. Just because I do hope that they play it again. I really do. Okay. ECD, annoying. And what do they choose? They choose the Teferi. Well, that's good. But it also means that they probably have a sweeper. With a Teferi in the graveyard, this card is really annoying. And there doesn't seem to be a lot I can do. Move to combat, charge this up to Hexproof. That's a house. So they have to sweep it. Let's play this, because it will cost more mana next turn.
Let's slow this down.
I wonder if I want to bounce their ECD and make them play it again. Just to put it off. It is their whole turn. Yeah, let's time walk them. ECD can't hit the Godzilla anyway. They have to sweep the board now if they want to get rid of it. Play one of these little guys. Just because there's versatility in being able to throw the point of damage somewhere. Okay, they had to go for the Shatter. That's what happens when you have the Hexproof creature. So now that they've played their Shatter...
I'll protect you.
Is this real? Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure, why not? Let's make them have another one. It'll be fun. Not playing around the double Shatter today, folks. Okay. We can get rid of all the little creatures, but the Loxodon gets to stay. Bouncing the ECD a while ago is actually working out. They've had a hard time redeploying it. Nice job playing multiple sweepers, opponent. Really, really wise. You gotta punish those aggro decks for daring to play Magic with you. Eagles, here it comes. They go after the Loxodon. Or do they? Maybe they're scared of this hitting Hexproof again. Alright. So now bouncing the ECD looks pretty bad. We're still a red source away from getting this back. So I think I play second 4/4 plus. What are they going to do? I still have a Leyline of the Void that should be utter trash. If I bounce this now, then they have to replay it, but they still get to make the 1/1. Seems bad.
I've got time.
Hit him. What you got?
I am not going to sit
So annoying.
There goes nothing.
I know, it's usually what I play. You guys can make fun of me all you want to. I get it. So they make a 1/1, they block. I guess that's what we need to do, though. I can't play the Loxodon and the Ozolith because of the ECD tax, because, you know, annoying. Just here to be annoying. I do want to draw the card. It could change things. Bouncing the ECD here isn't very good, since it takes out my Loxodons, so I guess we'll tax their mana this way.
Might be a bad
Alright, we drew the land. Get some counters going. The opponent, I think, is going to bounce this Loxodon and lifelink attack this Teferi, which is terrible.
That's more like it.
But there's not a lot I could do. My options are extremely limited. They are at 7.
Surrender now.
They could go up to 8.
Open mind.
Is there something we could draw that just wins the game? They hit another Shatter off the Narset. Feels good. Okay, they let me keep my Teferi so that I can just get wrecked. That's nice.
Don't worry, I got this.
Ah, the life of a Jankster. I like this hand. This hand feels like what we're trying to do. Oh, yay, is it mono red? It's mono red. Let's get an Ozolith on the field. You are the enemy. No one wants to hear you. Nobody cares what you have to say. You clearly have no brains. You clearly have nothing to offer. Mono red players have nothing to offer. We all know it's true. Don't act like it's otherwise. All these shocklands are coming in at just the right time. I guess we'll play a 2/2, because if they kill it, Ozolith counters, and then we can play another creature and it will be large. Championship level gamer spotted. They play Cavalcade. In best of 1. Unranked. Animating Fairy. For the first time today, it's like something might happen with the Ozolith. Man, these shocklands are here at the wrong time. Wow, brilliant. I'm so glad I was here today for this. I'm so glad I showed up this morning. What a great game. What a high quality experience. Boom, on the play, snappy keepy. Let's lead with the Conjurant. Try to get that damage in. We're up against Obosh, so if we can even trade this with one of their unranked, one of their 1-drops, but they don't even play a 1-drop. That's something. Let's get the Ozolith down. Let's get Stone Coil down so that we can play a Loxodon next turn if we draw it and hit them in the face. We need to draw land. Land for the Loxodon. Fail. But we do have the Overseer. I'm just getting worried. I guess they don't have a Bone Crusher Giant. But if they just snap off a Flame Sweep here, it's pretty epic. This is not the mono red I know. Mono red lost its way. I think we do like this. Let's get big, fast. Make the creatures larger. Okay, mono red. you might want to try keeping hands that have 1-drops and 2-drops. Just gonna throw it out there. Gonna throw it out there as a magic theory that you may benefit from. And we are back for the post-games wrap, and I never animated Ozolith with Animating Fairy. Didn't happen. Didn't even really come up. Most games were over by turn 5. It's interesting. So I'm actually going to try posting some statistics from the games that I play, and we'll see how that goes. I'm very curious how many people click on them. People talk about, like, they ask a lot of statistic related questions like win rate and what I played against and things like that in chat and in comments. I'm curious how many people will actually look at it. So if there should be a link below if you want to click it and go to a stats spreadsheet. This is what it looks like. And I also, if any of you guys know how to use spreadsheets, I don't. I literally have very little use for them in my existence, but if you know how to create a spreadsheet, making this play draw thing work would be nice. Right now it doesn't seem to select what I want it to select over here, and I don't know how to write spreadsheet code. But anyway, I'm curious how many people will actually take a look at the spreadsheet and the statistics. And I mean, we're playing an unranked queue. We're playing at a pretty casual time of day, early on a Sunday, but as you see, we played 3 mono reds, we played Esper Control, Fiend Cycling, Bant Ramp, Rakdos Sacrifice. I would say 7 out of 10 are Pro Tour level decks. So it's kind of hard to do anything good in a situation like that with a janky build. And most of the games were completely over one way or another by turn 5. So it's hard to get time to draw an animated fairy and do your thing. But the deck is kind of fun. The Ozolith didn't really shine today. It seemed like it never mattered, which is always a little heartbreaking, but it's a very fun deck. I like the 0 Loxodons. There were some exciting games where we got to play around what our opponent was up to. I really enjoyed the Bant game, and the RNG from Crystal and Giant can be both heartbreaking and exciting. So, yeah, proceed with caution and at your own risk, and let me know what you think of, what would you call it? A more grounded outro? Let me know what you think of stats. I honestly think that most people say they want them, but they don't really want them. I think that they'd rather have some... I think that they're more likely to enjoy hope, optimism, and an entertaining product than they are the actual reality of playing jank decks. But let me... you tell me. Some people prize honesty and seeing me suffer above those things. And I have to take opinions into account. So, sound off. And thank you, Cool Kids Club, and I hope you're enjoying Jank Week, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.